Okay, my hill to die on is I believe that pastors should be required to have significant work experience apart from ministry. Either before they enter ministry or if they are in ministry in a bivocational kind of way.
Say, required military service?
That could be one.
Peace Corps?
Sure.
Podcasting.
Maybe.
McDonald's?
And I say this as somebody who did not.
Yeah, and
have
look
that.
how, boy, would you be
Well,
you be a better person if you had?
I think one of the things as I kind of went from undergrad to seminary to ministry, there's certain number of us who go through that kind of pipeline. But when I left the pastoral ministry role to do other things, it profoundly changed my outlook on the way I had been a pastor. I wish I'd had that experience before becoming a pastor because, part of being a pastor is you need to shepherd sheep. You need to shepherd people. And when you have no way of relating to their lives because you don't know what it's like to have a 9-to-5, or you don't know what it's like to be in a secular setting in a workforce. Too much ministry happens with pastors staying in the church building and in their offices and inviting people into their environment to run ministries and programs, and not enough pastors have meaningful time and experience and exposure outside the church, in the fields, metaphorically speaking, with the sheep, where they work and live.
Well, they should be shepherds, actually, literally, before they become pastors.
Yeah. I saw the effect it had on me as a younger pastor, the naivete and the ridiculous expectations I had for people. And once I got outside that role and was working a different kind of job outside, the light bulb went on for me and realized, I didn't even know what people were really living in and through when I was trying to teach and guide and shepherd them. And so I think there's just a wisdom that comes from that kind of experience. It's good to have it. I have great admiration for those who are bivocational ministers. And it's an undervalued reality. And I think it would be great if more seminaries really were modeled in a way that could do that for people, or if churches were structured in a way that validated. I remember one time talking to a pastor who tried to get outside their church building more often into the community and doing stuff. And they actually got reprimanded by the elders.
Whoa. Saying,
we're not paying you to go out into the community and do stuff. We're paying you to run the programs of the church. And so there's a mindset of professionalization of ministry that actually works against pastors shepherding where the sheep are. And so my hill to die on is I think we need ministry models that are healthier for pastors, obviously, but also are better for the people by having pastors who understand what it's like in the community where they minister. Like if you're in a town and the biggest employer in your town is a car manufacturing, like as a pastor, you should know what that plant is like,
right,
inside and out. Right. You should be there regularly. You should know the people who work there. You should know the people who lead that. You have to get out into the community and know what it's like. And when we just professionalize it and stick you in an office or in a church all day long, and you've never really worked out and you can't really, I don't think that leads to the best ministry. I know there are going to be wonderful exceptions to this, but in general, I think it's much healthier for pastors to have that experience.
Caitlin, of course, disagrees. Caitlin?
I don't totally disagree. I think the part that I disagree with is this has been a pretty consistent model in Christian history, that there are people that just train and serve their whole lives in a professional ministry capacity.
Yes, that's true. But prior to 1950, most ministers, priests, whatever, spent most of their week outside the church.
That is totally fair.
That's what's changed.
Because there wasn't anything going on there.
There wasn't any. There was just that you gathered for worship on Sunday, and the rest of the week, that pastor was in the prison, in the hospital, in the fields, in the factories, in the homes, ministering to people. That's a different hill to die on that maybe we'll do in the future, like my whole thing about sermon-centric Sundays. But when I left my role at the church and I was in the pew a lot more than I was in the pulpit, my family was young, the kids were young. It's just a busy season of life, crazy, chaotic. Mike, our producer, you're in that season right now. You know what it's like. I was working 40, 50 hours a week in a more or less 9-to-5 job. And I'd come in on Sunday, and I remember feeling assaulted because over and over in the sermon announcements from the worship leader, from the pastor in the sermon, it was just one thing after another that the church wanted me to do. We want you to be involved in this. You need to serve in this. You need to sign up for this. You need to be on this retreat. And I'm going, are you kidding me? Do you have any idea what my life is like and how much margin I actually have? And you just want more and more and more from me. And then I realized I was doing that exact same thing when I was in the pulpit every week.
Yeah.
And it was coming from a place of ignorance where my whole world was the church. So I assumed everyone else's whole world should be the church. And I had no empathy for those who were working themselves in a regular job, trying to make ends meet, raise a family, do that. And I wasn't compassionate towards that in the way I was expecting people to donate their energy and time to what I thought was important.
Yeah.
So it wasn't until I got outside of my narcissistic little ministry bubble that I realized what the people in my church were really living like.
Yeah.
And it changed my approach to things.
Yeah.
And I wish I had learned that sooner.
Mm-hmm.
And
Well,
I think that's something that's
speaking for the podcast, we've been enjoying you much more since you stopped being a narcissist.
thank you, Phil.
Yeah.
I applaud you. And I think we should have a Holy Post ice cream shop someday, and we'll sell Diet Dr. Pepper and sermon-centric Sundays.
That's funny.
So that's a great idea.
Hey, you can help us out a ton by liking this video. And if you subscribe to Holy Post video content, it helps a lot of other people find it too.